Hello everyone and welcome to our recap of the Tata Steel 2022 tournament. We'll make it quick and actually I'm going to take a shift in our video and try to make it tiny educational. I don't know. Well, we'll see if it's working. So the tournament, okay, what can I say? Nothing smarter than we didn't say before. Magnus showed up, Magnus played, Magnus won. It took Magnus a little bit time, but I think on round 6, right after beating Rapport, he took the lead together with Few, never looked back, never lost a game, was never in any danger, if at all. He had some big chances against Esipenko in game 1 if he had played d4. He was winning against Van Foyst if he had played King e2. Everything is on our daily recap videos and so and such. Um, yeah, well, he's just strong. I think he won several points. Maybe making it to 2900 is no fantasy. Other players, I mean, I will mention quickly my most notable things in my head. Rapport. Actually, let's go to Mamederov. Mamederov really played great. Really played great. Fantastically creative, fun chess, you name it, everything you want. If it's not for that exchange sacrifice that maybe, well, that was not necessary against Carlsen, and maybe if he would have not lost this game, okay, it's a big maybe, right? I mean, it wasn't like he missed a forced draw or something, but he got a much worse with unnecessary exchange sacrifice. Maybe we could have had a more interesting tournament because this was against Magnus, right? So Magnus, let's say it was a draw, Magnus half a point less, Mamederov half a point more, you name it. But really awesome, I think awesome tournament for Mamederov. Rapport, okay, he got, I believe, a technical win against Dubov. Okay, let's open brackets for a second. Dubov, yeah, Dubov really tiny bit messed up the tournament, well, for himself and in general. Before the 7th round or after the 6th round, there was some suspicion that someone in his team might have COVID. They asked Dubov to wear a mask to the 7th round. He refused. He didn't show up. Giri got an important win. It was just after he won against Caruana. It gave him some momentum. Then Dubov showed to games 8, 9, and 10. And then it was confirmed that he has COVID. So he didn't show up to games 11, 12, and 13. It's tiny messing up the tournament, right? Some people got, I mean, 4 people got a free point. Some others needed to fight. He's a good player. I think it also affected his game. If you remember the end game he lost to Grandelius, it was in one of our daily recap. Yeah, maybe it wasn't the same Dubov. Obviously, super strong player, tricky tournament. Okay, so back to our tournament. Rapport got a win against Dubov in round 11, I believe, technical one, but he started with a loss to Doda on the first round. Those were my 2 most interesting players I wanted to see. So Rapport did not bad, but Doda should be, well, he's disappointed, right? I mean, starting with a win and then he scored not okay. Yeah. Giri, okay, Giri had a miracle against Caruana, then the win against Dubov, and then, okay, 2 good games against Esipenko and Shankland. He was half a point behind Carlsen, almost, maybe, no. Van Foyst in round 11 ended this story. Everyone had at some point some small chances, but, well, only one player never looked back. Vidit is, I think, the most disappointed player in this tournament, right? He started great. He was leading, I think, up to round 6, leading non-stop, maybe even round 7. And then he lost to Van Foyst, a game that he really didn't need to lose. Actually, maybe at some point he was even tiny better. Yeah, this really hurt, and the tournament went absolutely downhill for him. The loss in round 12 to Mamederov, overlooking F5, our daily recap videos. Oh man, that was heartbreaking because you could see he's in a lot of pain when he needed to resign. And then, okay, we will see this game that was just a continuation. So he is definitely the most disappointed player in this tournament. It was a decent show overall for the young Indian prodigy player, Praga. started not that great, but well, started playing better and better and better, and finished up with a reasonable score, very reasonable score. For the previous tournament winner, Van Foyst, good tournament. I mean, in Vacanze, if he would play all, well, I'm an old, I say Vacanze, Tata Steel, but it's Vacanze. If he would play all his chess there, maybe he would be, I don't know, one of the top 10, 15 in the world. Pretty much for certain he would be. But I guess, home court advantage, let's call it like this. Caruana need to find his mojo somewhere. Caruana really needs to find his mojo somewhere. I don't know. I think in one of Austin Powers, right? In one of Austin Powers, he's looking for his mojo. Yeah, I really think that Fabi really needs to maybe consult with Austin Powers or someone else. But the clear number 2 in the world for many years, almost so close to be a world champion, so close against Magnus in 2018, and not amazing chess for already quite some time. Okay, Karyakin started not great, Tiny recovered, and the rest all right. Nothing too exciting. So Carlsen won. Some people had at some point tiny chances. Nothing really that much. Mamederov, I think, is notable. So if there is not such interesting games in the last round, some quick draws at the top and some positional play at the bottom, let's try to get something educational from that. Let me show you. Before showing you, I want to talk for 30 seconds to 1 minute about one concept that I think people forget or people underestimate. And that word is unpleasant. Unpleasant. You know, we all know material advantage. Attacking. I analyze with chess with some players. Most of them are stronger than me, not too difficult these days. Some, surprisingly, not. And you see that people understand the concept of material. People understand space and pieces development and weak king and all those things. But what if you have a position that everything looks almost okay, but you know what? You are just tiny, your position is just tiny more pleasant than your opponent. Huh? This is our story for what we will see today. You know, it reminds me, Carlsen, in his match against Anand, was asked after one of the games, I think the one that he won the Rook game. I think the one that he won the Rook game. Yeah, I remember the opening, and yeah, it was started with d4 stuff. I hope I'm not mistaken. Someone asked him, you know, Anand is making some unnecessary mistakes. You know, how can you explain that? And Magnus, again, I'm always super careful when quoting, especially quoting such player, but I think he said something like, I want to believe that the pressure I'm putting on him has something to do with his mistakes. Awesome. Awesome, right? I mean, you pressure. At some point, people make mistakes most of the time. I want to show you, take you back to history, to show you one position, and then you will see how similar in my head it is the story to Karyakin Vidi. So let's go see not really that bad players. Karpov Kasparov, the first match, 1984-85. This is game 27. While I'm playing the moves for people that that are not familiar, this match was, I think, the last match that it was the first one to get to 6 wins. After that, they changed it the best of 24, and then best of 16, and then best of whatever. It was the first one to get to 6 wins. Okay, some Queen's Gambit stuff here. And Karpov took a 5-0 lead. Everything was drawn. Karpov won the 5th game. It was the 27th game. And then Karpov couldn't win anymore. And then Karpov, you know, it was a 5 months long match. And then Karpov started losing. I think games 47, 50, 51. I'm not going to bet my life on that, but I think somewhere around that were the games that he lost. And then the match was stopped. The players are exhausted. We need to blah blah blah. Basically, saving private Karpov. Actually, that saving private Karpov, and then in the rematch or renewed match, Kasparov won. Anyhow, so look at this position. And by the way, I'm a huge fan of Karpov. I mean, he's maybe my favorite player. I don't know. All right. I think he played here Rook FC1 and ended up winning. And Okay, I've seen this game. Okay, I was not a strong player, right? I mean, I was a young kid. Okay, I was never a strong player, but at some point I was better than whatever. Wow. I mean, like, it's not easy to think why White should be winning here. Of course, White is not winning here, but White is a bit more pleasant. And that's how world champions play. That's how best players in the world are playing. Now, rewinding. Rewinding? Oh no, fast forward. Fast forward, man. Not easy when you're streaming and not using DVDs to think what you need to do. But fast forward to this tournament and Karyakin against Vidit. Look, I'm going quickly to the opening. Alright, look at that. Look, I mean, tell me this doesn't look, smell, feels like a draw. Come on, right? I mean, of course it is. Of course it is. But who would you prefer to be here? White or black? The answer is white. And if you prefer to be white, I'm talking now like, I said, we will pretend to make it a little educational stuff taking from those games, because this is what I really want viewers to see. Not just when the players are blundering and we are happy, oh, well, they are also human like us. But what can we learn? That when we are a bit better, we sit on the opponent. Sandro, if you're going to scream at me for knocking, what to do? That's it. I know you're not going to kill me. You love me. So that's it. So you play and you play and you play. Is this a draw? Yes, it is. I mean, okay, I had tiny analysis here. I mean, okay, this is like not so exciting to look. Okay, King F8 is okay. I think King E7 was a decent choice. But even here, I think, for example, Bishop E2, right? Let me look at the tiny analysis that I've made here. Blah 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 blah. Rook E3. No, okay, they played Bishop E2 with several moves forward was out there. No, it was there, Bishop E2. Okay, so tiny unpleasant, tiny unpleasant, unpleasant. Is this a draw? Yes, yes, yes. But it's better to be white. For anyone that has watched the wild history of the world, I strongly recommend you to watch it, right? So in the French Revolution part, the genius movie, Mel Brooks, he keeps saying, actually there is a chess scene there, but I cannot talk about this chess scene in the wild history of the world. Or History of the World Part 1, that's how it's called, right? Yeah, so there is a quote, it's good to be the king. I'm telling you, this is equal. It's good to be white here. It's good to be white. Okay, and here, whoops, Vidit cracked. I mean, the position is still acceptable here. Yes, little pressure, not so much fun. Still a draw, or should be a draw, I think. Rook c6, bishop here, 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 here. If rook a5, no, okay, I know how to count. I know how to count. White is up a pawn, but with the activity, maybe reasonable. I mean, it feels like it should maybe be holdable. Maybe. I mean, and black king is very active. But it's better to be white. Of course, right? Whether draw, whether not, it's better to be white. And if something like this, I think here, this was a good idea. This rook endgame, maybe draw. Who knows about those things? But it is probably close to that. And also here, okay, rook d4, I think. Anyway, black has reasonable chances to hold something like that. But again, he's already down a pawn. So instead, this version was played, but this is a completely different story. Completely different story. Because of the a7 pawn and so on, and because rook a5 was possible. Look, black king never got in play, and yada yada yada. Yeah, here we go. So, the moment that c5 I think will be played, it should be kinda really over. Yeah. Okay, so what there is to take from this game? Okay, I'm not gonna analyze. I'm not gonna analyze this. I wanna believe and assume that this is just win. I mean, the king can never get there. Let's just look at this, right? Here, this is a queen, this is a queen, right? So I think like really no way for black to untangle the position. Yeah. Anyway, I didn't analyze this part, so if there was some miraculous draw that the players missed, I don't really care. That's not my point. My point was that white had a microscopic advantage, and by kept playing and putting tiny pressure, it suddenly became to a winning position. Maybe whether they missed or not, I didn't really even look at. The other game, that other little similar story that I want to show, but this was tiny bit more clear, is the game of Shankland. And I think that here I'm a bit surprised about Shankland. I'm just uploading the game here. Little bit surprised about Shankland opening play, right? I mean, he's always amazingly well prepared. We've seen his game against Karyakin, how great it was. But here, okay, I will just show the opening and then skip to the final part of the game. So let's see little bit that one. Okay, so I'll tell you where I was really surprised. And I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. I mean, such a strong player, I always feel, I always feel, confused and worried when I have to say I really think they played bad. Okay, so some version of whatever London system. I guess the idea of not playing knight c3 is to be able to have some, for example, queen b6, knight c3. In many systems, queen b6 is a key idea in the London variation. Take. I mean, I just don't think this is good. I mean, to be honest, if I hadn't seen who is playing black, okay? Let's say you just show me this game blank. I would say black is playing just really bad. Yeah, I mean, exchanging the pawns usually helps white, opening the e file, and the e5 square is a huge battle. And then exchanging those bishops, I mean, why white isn't just better here? White is just better here. By the way, where do we get this line? 1 minute opening I told you today, tiny educational story. Okay, if we play the Karu-Khan exchange variation, okay, I mean, this move e6 is not such a big hit. This is not the main move they play, right? I mean, g6, bishop f5, that's okay. I mean, some e5 are being played. I think also some queen c7. But e6, some people, me among them, might say we prefer white. I mean, this is almost identical to the structure that we are having in our game here. All right. So, yeah, he just got a bad position. I mean, to my taste, bad position. Okay, e5. Okay, so this is just pure ugliness. Like, forget about it. Okay, yada yada yada. Let's go to the final position. He was, I think, much worse, and then he got chances. He defended quite well, I think. Maybe Van Foster had tiny better chances. But again, let's go to our key point. Okay, so we are joined to this game after move 53. And okay, the players have already played, I don't know, maybe looking at the clocks, maybe 5 hours, 4.5 hours by now. Well, I mean, they played quite a long game with the increment and so on. And black has constantly been under pressure. And Shanklin played a move, very logical move, rook to a5, that is losing the game, I believe. I mean, g5 was played, and his main idea was he's able to put the rook behind the pawn, but nah, this is just losing. I'm not certain what you overlooked, but this is just losing. And actually here he had a move that is probably getting very, very, very close to a draw, I believe. And that is playing the move. I want to look at my analysis a bit. Playing this b3 immediately. The key idea, if g5, bishop on f5, And black king can be very active in some versions. And if rook going to b8 immediately, yeah, then you have some king c5, bishop f5 ideas, bishop b5 ideas, I believe. Anyway, I'm not analyzing it too deeply, because it will take the point from what tiny educational part I wanted to try and show you. When you are the better side, yes, you do not see a win. You do not see a win. You do not see even how to break through your opponent position. But reverse it. Think about it. Your opponent is the one that has been constantly under pressure. He is unpleasant. You keep playing, right? And I think that we've seen, okay, this game is a less example than Karyakin, because in Karyakin game it was really microscopic. In Karpov game, it was really microscopic and extremely similar structure to Karyakin against Vidit. Okay, so that's the most I could make from not so exciting games in the last round, but maybe tiny educational concept. Unpleasant is a big, at high level, big concept. Hopefully, maybe will be a little bit useful. All right, we have what? We have the Grand Prix, I think, right? The Berlin tournament starting this week. Well, we'll get to see if there's any interesting stuff over there. Bye. Enjoy.